Hello everybody, Dennis1230 here, back again with another video. So today I'll be talking about how to level up in Battlefield Hardline, my recommendations for it, and what I think you should be doing in order to, how would they say, level up very fast and how to gain the most money and stuff like that early on in the game. And yeah, so firstly, before I get this started, my video, I guess my cancellation / other video is postponed until after school ends, which will be June 19th for me, simply because I don't have the time right now and other things have come up. So I'm going to be sticking to gaming videos for the moment, but do not worry guys, it will be coming out, I promise you. Either way, so let's get into this and talk about what's going on. So recently, a few people, I guess, not anyone on YouTube, but a few people in game chat were asking me how I level up, how you can level up so fast in this game. So I decided, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a video on it. And I'll be going over 4 criteria for leveling up fast. First one will be the classes you pick, obviously, / weapons. You know, the simple thing, basically what you're going to be using to get your XP up. Second will be modes. Some modes are obviously better for getting XP than others, and money and stuff like that as well. And then we will go on to third, which is maps, and then 4, which will be simply just tips and tricks. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video, as is something that I've taken a lot of time thinking about, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, so for the standard weaponry / classes you will want to choose, I will go over which ones are the easiest to play, which ones have the best guns, blah blah blah. So, the first class I'll recommend to anybody, no matter what player you are, is the operator. Simply put, if you guys don't know for some reason, the operator is basically the medic of the game. The main reason why you want to run it leveling up is A, it has the best weapons in the game, and they're for each side as well. They have some of the best weapons in the game. They're some of the easiest weapons to use in the game, and you have the ability to heal and revive your teammates, meaning that you will be able to not only get score from helping your team, but you also have the weapons that even if you're not very good at the game, you will still be able to compete. And also healing yourself so you don't, just constantly die to grenades and stuff like that. This brings me to the second class I would recommend. The other 2 classes I will not recommend early on. Those I recommend once you have a bit more money, or once you're a bit better at the game. But the second class I would recommend is actually Mechanic. Now, a lot of people would say, well, why not recommend Enforcer? The main reason why I don't recommend Enforcer, aka the class that gives out ammo, is because the fact that the weapons are way too specialized, and they're not easy to use. And the other issue being the fact that, simply put, the only gadget that really defends you, or should I say, the only gadget that really helps you during combat or making points, is your freaking ammo crate. Because the ballistic shield can get you points, but it's not enough to matter very much. And whilst it does provide protection, it's not useful enough to really justify it being the entire reason. And your explosives are simply put, unless you beforehand are making preparations with the explosives, they're not good enough to deal with multiple, they're not good enough as anti-vehicle deterrents for me to care. That is why I choose the Mechanic. Simply put, the Mechanic can repair and destroy vehicles very fast. They also have the ability to equip body armor, which makes it so they take reduced damage from pretty much all sources except explosives. For their primaries, they have access to SMGs, which at first seem a bit weird, because like I said, I didn't pick support because of its specialized weapons. The main reason that makes the PDW/SMGs different is that most of them are low recoil weapons with either high fire rates or simply put, just like balanced accuracy, I guess you call it. So they're extremely easy to control. They are extremely good in close range, and even at long range, if you can hit enough bullets, they will kill targets, which is amazing to say the least. But you also have the recoil and close enough to the accuracy to do it. Meaning that, you know, any new player can run in and just start spraying around with an SMG, and then you have their great handling stats among with everything else, just making them super easy to use. And if any noob gets caught out in a hallway, you know, an MP5 or something like that will do them well. As for the reason why I don't choose the professional, well, the professional, while spotting can be good and supporting your team and stuff like that, snipers, not good starting off. And the only gadget, the only two things they bring to the table that make them good is that their secondaries are all overpowered, and that their freaking trip mines are kind of broken. As for my final point, though, on the mechanic and why I choose the mechanic as my probably one of my favorite ones for beginners to play, is because with access to your grenade launcher and sabotage, you can destroy enemy vehicles without doing very much, which both give you a lot of XP and a lot of money, as well as the fact that repairing friendly vehicles gives you a lot of XP. Not so much money, but it still gives you a lot of just XP, which is what you need early on if you want to start getting money, because I'm not sure if you guys know, but ranking up gives you the battle packs and stuff like that, and also, like, it can give you some extra money and stuff like that, so pretty much the easiest way to level up with that. So, next up we're going to start talking about vehicles, well, not really vehicles, but more modes, and if vehicles in those modes will actually be useful to you. Okay, so why am I putting vehicles here? Well, simply put, vehicles are one of the main powerhouses of Battlefield games, and they also are a great way to make money, simply because of the fact that they machine gun people down half the time. For newer players, I recommend two vehicles in particular. That is the Squad SUV and the Bearcat/Heavy Armored Assault Truck. Simply put, both of these vehicles are heavily armored, will not be damaged very much by bullets, have extremely strong weapons for dealing with enemies, and also have the capability of destroying other vehicles while still being mobile. Out of all the vehicles, though, I recommend the SUV the most, just because you not only have two guns, one with a 3 guns, two of those only with a 45-degree angle of fire, but one of them has full 360. But they're all extremely good, and they're all extremely powerful. The issue with the Bearcat/Heavy Armored vehicle being that you have a very slow-firing cannon that is not very, it's a bit more difficult to kill infantry with. If you wish to play a more passive role, my favorite vehicle for that would be either the Mobile Command Post, or as I like to call it, the Spawn Truck, and the Transport Heli. Simply put, just fly around, let people spawn on you, let people get out, stay out of trouble, basically that's it. And this comes to the biggest thing, and that is why am I not recommending the Attack Heli. Well, even though the Attack Heli does the most damage of any vehicle in the game, simply just because it has, miniguns and a front turret for the gunner. A, they're very difficult to fly for beginners because they're the most agile. But B, they are very, very, very susceptible to damage. Meaning that if you do not know when to dodge, if you don't know when to flare, if you don't know when to get out of there and go repair, you are basically just wasting the most powerful vehicle in the game. Plus, most of the modes where you can use it are modes that are not very good for making money or for playing very well. Namely, it only appears mostly on Conquest and Heist, which Heist is the only one I recommend, and Heist, or at least of those two modes, but Heist is the only one I see it very much on, sometimes Blood Money, but they're very few and far between, and they're only on very, very specific maps. Okay, so next up I'm going to go over modes. This is pretty self-explanatory for most people, but I'm going to break up into two categories. I will have one for beginners, like just complete beginner players. These two modes that I'm going to choose are modes where you can make lots of XP and money without doing very much, and you don't have to commit very much to doing well. As for the other two, are extremely good for XP, but require you to be a slight bit better. So, for all you people that are either A, lazy, or B, just bad at the game, or die a lot, the two modes I would recommend the most are Hotwire and Blood Money, simply because both of these modes you don't actually have to do very much to get score out of them. For Blood Money, if you can literally just sit on your own team's vault and kill people when they come by to try and steal it, whenever your teammates deposit their money, you get a fraction of the points that they get for depositing it, based on obviously the quantity of money. And Hotwire, simply because, well, Hotwire, you just sit in the car and then hope to God, especially if it's a four-door car, you can just sit there with a repair tool the entire time, while your two teammates actually shoot things. And if you guys don't know how Hotwire works, Hotwire is a mode where you literally just have these specific vehicles that are marked as objectives, and then you proceed to sit in them and drive them around the map, and then the enemy team is supposed to either kill you or kill the vehicle, and then re-pick up the vehicle once it respawns and drive it around. And did I mention you get a lot of money for doing this? But because I'm not a troll and I'm actually decent at the game, I recommend that I don't play it. I don't like playing it because it's boring. But to all you new people to the franchise, or even to just this game in general, that is the easiest way to make a ton of money. Now, on for you intermediate to highly skilled Battlefield players who maybe just are leveling up an ult or something, or if you just, I don't know, if you're new to this game but you don't, or like you're good at this game but you're not sure where to start getting like how to farm and stuff like that. The two others I recommend are Heist and Conquest. Now, Conquest, obviously, if you've played any Battlefield game, you know, simply put, you just get a lot of score. The games are normally extremely drawn out, they last forever, and you get tons of score for capturing objectives, killing people on objectives. Basically, do anything around the objectives, and you're going to get a lot of money for it. The second one, which is the one that most people would probably not expect me to do, is Heist. Now, why do I think Heist is a good mode to level up in? Well, simply put, A, if you're a cop, literally all you need to do is just keep killing the dude with the bag and sit there and then defend. And if there's a bag on the floor that's dropped, stay close to it. Because once that bar fills up and whenever that bag gets brought back to the base thing, you're only going to deal with you're only gonna have to deal with frickin' what's it called, you're only gonna have to deal with the people going for the bag then, and you also get a free 500 score, which 500 score is nothing to laugh at. At least in Hardline. So yeah, that'll be it for guns and other, I guess, like game modes, class and stuff like that. Next, I'll be going on to my favorite maps to play in any modes, and what maps I think are the best for leveling up. And then finally, I'll go on some tips and tricks. Now let me just address this before I go into this. Some of this, obviously, you're not going to see full gameplays. That's simply because of the fact that I decided to record this all in one session just for faster, and I didn't want to cut out me searching for lobbies and stuff like that just because I didn't feel like, no, it's not a big deal to the part, but either way. So, onto the maps. Now, I am playing one of the maps I recommend the most right now, which is Downtown. This map is in downtown LA, if you couldn't guess by the name. But this map has skyscrapers, buildings all around, explosives and stuff like that. Namely, the two best modes for this game, or for this map, are Heist and Blood Money, because with Conquest, a lot of people just sit on top of the map. Same thing with TDM and stuff like that. But in Heist and, well, Heist in particular, and Blood Money to an extent, a lot more people stay low to the ground, and as you can see in the rest of this gameplay, you'll see me using a variety of weapons, but not only that, you'll see me defending a low to the ground area. As for the other modes, Dustable, Grow House, and in my opinion, the Block are all the other best maps to play. Simply put, Dust Bowl is a map that has long range, close range, and medium range engagements, as well as every vehicle in the game, aside from like boats and like other, like, I guess DLC map specific vehicles it has. And so you can use any vehicle, level them up, use them, simply put. The other big thing is the fact that the map caters to every playstyle, like I said earlier, and all the objective modes are not unbalanced, so it's simply just a very balanced, very fun map to play. It's probably one of my favorites, honestly. I'm never upset getting Dust Bowl. I think it's a great map for anyone to play, especially for a map for one to master. As for Grow House is a map centered in, I believe it is LA, but it's another part of LA. But what it is that it is a 3-building map where you have one building for each spawn, and then you have a grow house in the center with a, I guess, street / alleyway and a small railway station on, like, around these, in between and around these buildings. There's also an underground section and rooftops for people. Simply put, it's a grindier map, but it's definitely good for XP, and I think the greatest mode it is on is probably Heist. Blood Money is also very good. Same thing with Conquest. Conquest is actually pretty decent on it. But overall, the map is just very good. It's kind of grindy, and you can die from a lot of weird angles, but once you get used to it, it is a very easy map and a very fun map. As for the final one, which is the Block is basically the grindiest map ever. That's simply put. But if you find lobbies on it, it tends to be max ticket lobbies, so it's extremely easy just to spray, throw grenades, throw explosives. Basically just throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at your enemies, and they will start falling. And once they start falling, you start getting money. Heist is not a very good map on, simply because of the fact that Heist generally ends up in the criminals being spawn camped the entire round. Like, that's all it ends up being normally. Or it's an extremely fast win for the criminals if they do manage to push through. There's generally no, like, interesting dynamic. Blood Money is pretty fun, but good luck after, like, the first, like, 20 seconds of the round getting money out of the middle pile, because everyone just throws explosives and gas grenades on it. I think the best modes for it are actually Conquest and TDM. There's no hotwire available on that map, but simply put, those are just, it caters to the grindiness and the close quarters nature of the maps. So that's a map that specifically, I think, if you want to play it and you want to level up fast, play Conquest. And it is also the only map I recommend playing TDM on to level yourself up very fast. Okay, on to the final part, which will just be tips and tricks. I'm not going to make a title card for this one or anything, but simply put, I have 3 major tips for you, and all 3 of these are ones that you should always stand by. The rest will be like simple, I guess, like class specific or map specific things. Okay, firstly, for the 3 major tips that I would give you, one is simply play the objective in this game. You get the most money from playing objective. If you're playing a mode like TDM or if you're playing Conquest, go for kills obviously, but don't, at least on Conquest, stay near the objectives for the extra score. In Heist, always stay near the packages. Same thing with, Blood Money, always go for the money. Specifically, the middle vault is very good for getting kills and getting money. Second tip will be stick with your squad, or stick with a well-balanced squad. Simply put, if your squad is well-balanced, so they have like one of every class, or like they're playing fairly well, stick with them. Simply put, squad mates in Battlefield Hardline for some reason seem to be a bit less of a douchebags than in other Battlefield games, meaning that they are actually willing to help out sometimes. Amazing, right? So, don't just throw your squad mates away like in Battlefield 4, because I know for some reason a lot of people like to do that in Battlefield 4, and it irritates me. Either way. So yeah, so always stick with your squad mates. That's something I would say in every Battlefield, but this one in particular. Especially if you're in a specific, if you're playing a specific class, like Recon / Professional, and stuff like that, because then you honestly need it for mid-range engagements and so on and so forth. And the final one is try to improve your gameplay / aim and stuff like that, but do not push yourself too hard. This game is extremely easy to get frustrated at, and this game can also be extremely easy to get burnt out on. Simply put, if you're having a bad day, stop playing the game for a bit, play another game, maybe another Battlefield, and then begin playing this game again. Simply put, that's one of the reasons why I keep taking breaks from Battlefield Hardline reviews, is that I get too angry at the game, and then I slowly start getting more and more annoyed, I start doing worse, and then I end up in terrible gameplay situations. So, like I said, if you're having, make sure you try and improve, but if you're doing terrible one day, or you just really are upset, don't play this game, because you will get murdered. Just take a break, fix yourself, take care of yourself. Okay, so I'm going to give 1 tip for every class, and 1 tip for your weapon selection for each class. So, for Assault / Operator, my general class setup is get the revive or defibrillators for each side, like for each faction, as soon as possible. And if you are planning on playing the block or something like that, or a very close quarters map, I would also recommend investing in the gas grenade launcher. Simply put, just shoots gas grenades, and it's extremely good because it now makes you, if you're already running gas grenades, you go from having 3 to having upwards of 7 or 8, and they can also all be resupplied fairly fast. As for the weapon solution, or the weapon tip, the first weapons you should start buying are the assault rifles for each faction specifically. The 4 I recommend are early on are the M16 A3, the M416, the AKM, and if you have the DLC corresponding to it, the MDC. Simply put, the MDC and the AK are the high damage weapons of each class, or the highest damage. So they're basically like DMR. They're basically a mix between battle rifles and assault rifles. So they're simply just really good weapons. But mostly I recommend the M416 and the M16A3. Highly accurate, fast firing, high damage. Simply put, they're the best guns. They're the best guns overall in the game. For mechanic, simply put, my biggest tip with mechanic is know what your engagement distance is. Depending on what weapon you have, you can obviously still take out people at long range. but general rule of thumb, stay within your engagement distance, and if you're outside of your engagement distance, either use your revolver or don't engage at all. Same thing with vehicles, like your explosives can only shoot so far, so don't try and go don't go and try and Hail Mary / Kobe the thing across the map. You know, still keep it within general range. Medium range is about the best bet you're gonna have, and if the vehicle's moving at medium range, forget it. As for a choice of weapons, or a weapon, I guess thing you'd say, simply put, there's no real big issue with the class. The biggest thing I'll say is try not to buy any of the weapons that can be used on both sides. Specifically things like the Scorpion or the MP7, as even though they are okay guns, they just simply put they don't do enough damage to justify their use whatsoever. For the Enforcer class, I'm simply going to say the obvious. Use your ammo and make sure you use your gadgets to their fullest. Simply put, if you need to deal with a vehicle, or if you need to give out ammo, or you need other gadgets, don't just run around with the ballistic shit on your back always. Be willing to switch gadgets up, but always keep ammo on. I don't care what anyone says. Always run ammo. As for choice of weapons, shotguns are okay, but I recommend getting practice with DMRs or not DMRs, battle rifles, as they are the fastest killing full autos in the game. And all of them are extremely powerful. The only issue being the fact that they have extremely high recoil and sometimes very bad accuracy while in full auto. So just make sure you check up on those and you should do fine. And finally, for professional / recon, plant your goddamn trip mines. And also for the weapons, buy the standard bolt action for each spec and upgrade them with 338 Magnum ammo. That's all you need. Maybe get the 300 knockout at some point if you want to do the freaking assignment, because that thing sucks. Or, well, it's amazing, but still. Either way, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys all later. Peace out.